Let me give my ID then. This is a joint production with the John Sinclair radio show on RadioFreeAmsterdam.com.
Guitar Army, which is kind of the reason we're doing this.
I regard it as an historical document. I don't think of it in terms of its efficacy for today's youth. Although I do think if people were taking LSD again, interesting things would start happening. Because that's what catalyzed us, for sure.
Now, the mantra at the time was rock and roll, dope, and f***ing in the street.
Amen. Yes. All this is predicated on, when this became a popular phrase, but they bowdlerized it. And they call it sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And then, of course, they took the roll out. So. Oh, I think the government got our movement under control, the government and its owners. Starting with Woodstock in the middle of '69, when they realized that this was a mass phenomenon. It wasn't just a bunch of weirdos in the big cities. There was at least 500,000 people who would come to a field in upstate New York. So if there were 500,000 there, how many could there really be? Well, they never thought of this before. So that's when they targeted the counterculture and dragged it across the counter, if we can make a pun. The basic, that's me, it's 4:20. I can't figure out how to stop my alarm, so I set it for 4:20 so I get a laugh out of it at least, instead of being pissed off if it goes off at 3. And I know how to change the time, but I don't know how to shut off the ringer.
That's funny.
We have to get our humor where we can in today's world, where they won't even sell you anything really funny,
So how did you hook up with the MC5? How did that happen? How did that collaboration come about?
Well, I got out of the Detroit House of Correction on August 5th, 1966. And they had a big party, a welcome home party for me called the Festival of People. It was a beautiful thing, and all my friends were there. And about 11 o'clock or something like that, I was tired. I wanted to go and get into bed with my wife, from whom I'd been separated for 6 months, and have a couple joints with my friends from out of town before. So we went up. Our room was up above the artist's workshop. Well, about 3 o'clock in the morning, this huge explosive sound blew up through our ceiling, our floor, What the hell is that? Turned out to be the MC5. They'd been waiting all day to play. But by the time it was 3 o'clock and my wife ran downstairs and said, it's too late for this. The police will be here. It's too loud, So she cut them off. So I didn't hear him or see him then. I saw him a month later or so at the Michigan State Fair. So I saw them. And I just thought they were fantastic. And they were they already had a concept. And they would call themselves avant rock. It was, it wasn't like teenage. It was post-teenage. That was the first wave of post-teenage. See, that's like hippie rock from the West Coast. They grew up against the cliff of teenage pop and cornball disc jockeys and the most horrible, guys with matching outfits, matching haircuts. That's corny as in the world unless you're 12,
Now, there's a picture of the MC5 in your book prior to them meeting you, I guess.
Yeah, when they were when they had matching outfits. Yeah. They were a teenage band from Lincoln Park. Right. That's pretty far down the ladder as far as hipness went, See, there's all this mythology and all this phony legendary shit that's come up about our association, majorly based on the fact that I was some kind of cynical, flinty-eyed political radical who seized on these innocent rock and roll lambs from Lincoln Park and bent them to my will and forced them to support the revolution until they wised up and got the hell out of there. Well, the reality of it was we were all in it together until the point in June or so of '69 where they said, we aren't going to do this anymore. We won't be needing you or Rudnick or Jesse Crawford. were going to go for the middle of the rock and roll target. They were free humans. They could do whatever they wanted. Didn't turn out any better for them than I thought it would, but it'd be a bad business decision as well as an amoral decision from my point of view as a moralist. But the reality of it was, we were all just hippies. And they were a band, and all they wanted to do was play and get better and make their own tunes and build the... I mean, they were determined.
Kick out the jams, brothers and sisters! Crazy now, baby, 'cause we all got it tuned, and when the dressing room got hazy now, baby, I know how you want it, all quick and tight. The girls can't stand it when you're doing it right. Let me up on the stand and let me kick out the jam. Yes, kick out the jam. I have to kick them out. Yes, I'm starting to sweat, you know my shirt's all wet, what I'm feeling. It's the sound that I bounce and resounds on the ceiling. You gotta have it, baby, you can't do without it. When you get the feeling, you got to sign them all. Put that mic in my hand and let me kick out the jam. Yes, kick out the jam. Kick out. You got to give it up, you know you can't get enough this fucking thing. Cause it gets in your brain, drives you insane, leaving frenzy. The wiggling guitar still, the crash of the funk, make you wanna keep a rockin' till morning comes. Let me be who I am, and let me kick out the jam. Yeah, kick out the jam. I done kicked them out.
And my role is to make sure that all they had to do was work on this. I took care of the rest. And there was no money in it for any of us. All the money went to the band. I mean, you made $125 a night on Friday and Saturday night at the Grandy. Well, every bit of that went to Joe Massimino on our equipment bill, you know, for the gross of drumsticks that Dennis used each month.
mentioned Woodstock. There was an interesting incident that took place in Woodstock that involved you, right?
Yeah, well, I was in prison, so it was just legendary to me, but I have heard it now. The Who had the good taste, I think, a few years ago to release this on a box set of something. And also people have interviewed Pete Townsend about it. And I think he said if he would have known what this gibbering idiot on LSD was talking about, he probably would have supported it. But he ran out in the middle of a tune. Well, I thought at the time as the manager of a band, I didn't care who it was. If Jesus came out there and took the mic, he was getting off stage.
I think this is a pile of shit while John Sinclair rots in prison.
Of course, we're talking about Abby Hoffman interrupting the Who's set at Woodstock to speak about your freedom, basically.
Well, yeah, to say something, yeah, that sounded, I don't know. Humpamanen told me they were on acid, he and Abby, and he was urging Abby to do something, and of course, they'd probably been talking to the people, this Chip Monk or whoever was the stage manager, and they probably had promised them a chance to do this, and I'm picturing this because I was in prison.
Sure.
And the band goes ahead and starts without them giving their pitch until Abby says, "Man, we're going to put up with this shit," and runs out and grabs a mic and says, "Why are you free John Sinclair?" And Pete Townsend evidently whacked him with his guitar. "Get off of here, you nut!"
And they were right in the middle of performing Tommy, I believe.
Well, then I don't mind as much. I thought Tommy was one of the beginnings of the end of rock and roll.
This song I wrote for John Sinclair. Okay, John Sinclair, nice and easy now. Sneaky. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It ain't fair, John Sinclair, in the step of breathing air. Won't you care for John Sinclair, in the step of breathing air? Let him be, set him free, let him be like you and me. They gave him 10 for 2, and what else can the judges do? We got to set him free. If he'd been a soldier man, shooting boots in Vietnam, if he was the CIA, selling dope and making hay, he'd be free, they'd let him be, breathing air like you and me. Right on. They gave him 10 for 2. What else can the judges do? They gave him 10 for 2. They got old Leotis too. Now was he jailed for what he'd done, or representing everyone? Free John now, if we can, from the clutches of the man. Let him be, live the live, bring him to his wife and kid. Alright, they gave him 10 for 2. What else can the bastards do? We got to set him free.
your 10 for 2 situation really was the turning point that changed a lot of the drug laws for the better. John Lennon, of course, got involved in your cause, played at your rally. Had you met John Lennon prior to that?
No.
Did you meet John Lennon after that?
Yes, several times. We were going to do a big project together.
The first time you met him after you got out of prison, he had written a song about you. What did you say to the man?
My wife and I went to New York to say thanks in December of 71. I got out on the 13th. I don't know when we were there exactly. I couldn't tell you what day, but between the 13th and Christmas or so.
But you made a special trip.
Yeah, and then we went, we hit it off. I mean, he's a great guy. It's just like us. He could be sitting right there. If we were smoking a joint, he would probably light the first one,
Yeah.
Beautiful cat.
Any day can be the lucky one, or the one with your number written all over it. 123 507 in the poet's case, walking out the front door of the penitentiary, 8:30 p.m., 14 years ago today. 2 times 7 years, the cycle of struggle to make it through in one piece, on the yard or in these streets. Anyone who can pick up a frying pan owns death, Burroughs said. And sometime in New York City, coming back from the recording studio, walking up to his front door, John Lennon with a gun stuck in his face. Oh, sweet giant of song, with heart of huge dimension and eyes deep in the sky. There has to be a day when each of us must pass beyond this tedious sphere to enter some wondrous place of which we do not know whether we're ready or not, some other place or space out of time where no punk with a weapon will ever press you again or blow off your face out of the depths of his madness. No one will hold us against our will in a cell with bars in front and back, 8 feet by 6 feet by 10 feet high. No one will take us out of our natural lives and send us away from here by means of some murderous fantasy in which we are denied everything we have lived for. Oh, please let us die at the end of our own time and not before, free in our world of strife. Let us have life as long as we can, and please let there be men like Monk and John Lennon to share of their hearts and light up our ways as long as we may live.
All right, this has been an episode of the John Sinclair Radio Show, live from Los Angeles, California, the Cafe Etc., near the corner of Cahuenga and Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, it's been a gas talking about the old days, and see you next time.